I'm here with Mike Bernin, who is a senior lecturer at Cranfield School of Management in the Centre for Logistics and Supply Chain Management. Mike's going to talk to us about reverse retail logistics. Mike, could you begin by telling us what retail reverse logistics are and why this issue is so important right now?
Yes, retail reverse logistics refers to customers returning products to retail stores. It happens for a number of reasons. You might think that it's about the quality of products, but actually customers return products for a whole range of reasons. Quite often they get the product home nowadays and they're so complex that they can't get the thing to work. So they simply take it back to the store and get a refund. But there are a whole range of reasons why they take products back to retailers. The problem is that it's on the increase. Historically, returns at high street retailers could have been in the order of 5 to 10%. But of course, now the internet means that returns are skyrocketing. And for some retailers, you could be seeing returns of up to 30% in some categories. Now, if you imagine when we send products down the supply chain, they're neatly packaged, they fit on pallets nice, and they're all beautifully addressed. When products come back, quite often they're out of a box, they don't have the remote controls and the accessories that go with them, the batteries may have been used, and straight away the value of the product is diminished. So what we're finding is that the number of returns are coming back, and it's a huge cost for retailers.
The article talks about ways in which reverse retail management isn't properly integrated with supply chain management. So companies might be pretty good at putting products out, but much less good at taking them back into the system. Could you tell us a bit about what sort of problems this creates for companies, and particularly just how costly that might be for them if they don't get it right?
Yeah, I think your point is absolutely correct. Over a number of years, we've worked very hard on managing forward supply chains. And products now, in terms of global supply chains, are very effective, very, very efficient. When you look at returns, it's the opposite. It's a really immature process, and it's very expensive. The first problem, of course, is we don't know how expensive it is. These costs are hidden. A lot of them are hidden costs, and no one actually collects the cost together. In our research, the first thing we do is we sit down with retailers, manufacturers, and we map the process. And we allocate the true costs of managing returns. And it's a surprising figure. And there's a number of elements that are hidden. If you look at the cost to customers, quite often a customer, when they return a product, are quite disgruntled. They come back into a store on a busy Saturday, they get their money and they leave the store. And we haven't really resolved the problem. So it's not just the cost of managing the product back, it's actually potentially the loss of customers.
So within the system, you've got to think about why do things get returned in the first place and design that out of the process rather than simply thinking about how you deal with it when it happens.
Absolutely right. I'll just pick up on that point. Avoidance techniques is one of the first things that we talk about. It's too late by the time we got the product back from the customer to really save cost. What we want to do is say, well, why are customers bringing products back and how can we avoid that? And quite often that starts in the home. As soon as the customer takes the product out of the box, what is it that we can do or preempt to ensure that they don't put it back in the box and bring it back to the store?
And you've devised a model, certainly working with practitioners as well as academics, to help solve some of those problems. Could you tell us a little bit about the model and how that might help firms who are stuck with this problem?
Yeah, I mean, the work we've done, we've worked with over 50 retailers and manufacturers over a period of about 5 years on this problem. And we've come up with a framework which has a number of elements to it, but there's three key things. One is about performance management and control. The first thing about that is actually getting cost collection, probably taking an activity-based approach to looking at the costs. And again, not just at function levels, not just at company level, but across the whole supply chain. So let's share where these costs are. Let's understand that. The second part about performance management is understanding how we can improve perhaps avoidance techniques and other factors. And here maybe performance might be around measuring our retail stores on which ones are doing a good job of managing returns and those that are less good. And perhaps we can put that up on a website and we can actually measure that performance. So the first thing is to actually then get control of the operations.
So in effect, it's bringing quality management, as we would know it, into this aspect of retail, as well as into production and forward supply chain management.
And quality management is an interesting point. We've done quite a lot around the costings, and we use a concept called quality costing.
Right.
So what we suggest is here is to say, how much do you want to put in to prevent returns against lowering the amount of returns you're actually getting? So in terms of performance measurement, quality costing is quite a good tool in this area.
So how would you see this area being developed further? What came out of the research about that?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. We have a very vibrant forum. As I said, we've got a number of companies working on that. We're now looking at mitigation strategies. One of the latest things we're actually looking is now behavioural studies about de-shopping, actually understanding, first of all, why are customers bringing products back. The second one is then to say, how can we increase the value of the products we get back? So it's about asset values. And the third point is then, how do we reduce the operational cost? We've worked on a booklet that is freely available that has 207 self-assessment line items on that. So if companies are interested in assessing their performance, they can get a copy of that from Cranfield School of Management.
Great, thanks, Mike. And also notice the article itself has got some very useful practical ideas for companies who are interested in this problem. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.